This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
I love Onir's films, and another one is on the anvil. It's called Kuch Bheege Alfaaz. Hi, how are you? Great to see you, Onir.
Good to be back here.
And I have to say that Zain, you and me are together.
Yes.
And you and me are one of a kind. Ask me why.
Why?
Because we're the only non-national award winners in this room. we are surrounded by two national award winners. Yeah, and we have to doff our hats to that. Be reverential.
Yes.
Well, Geetanjali, I saw you in Trapped. I still am guilty of not having seen your national award-winning film. So, how does it feel to work with Onir for the very first time?
It's been fun.
It's been fun?
Yes,
yeah?
It's been fun. We had a lot of fun together, and I mean, I've been wanting to work with him, and I finally got the opportunity, and it was great fun. I mean, we got along really well, and we met a dozen of times before we actually started filming for workshops and stuff like that. So yeah,
lovely. And it must have been just like home, because are you a Calcutta girl, or did you spend some time in Calcutta?
I spent some time in Calcutta. Yeah, so it is like home to be in Calcutta, and
most of the filming did happen in Calcutta, didn't it?
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
And you, my friend, have been apprenticing for a while with Onir, just patiently waiting for this to work out. Yeah, haven't you?
Yes.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about when this whole process started. It's been about 4 or 5 years now?
3 years to be precise. I actually came here in 2014 August, and I started shooting in 2017 August.
Oh.
So yes, it's a period of 3 years where I think Onir is responsible for getting me to Bombay. And
where were you before this?
I was in Delhi. I was doing my studies in Delhi. I had the movie industry was a far cry, so to speak. It was only a distant dream. Considering I come from Srinagar, I had no theaters there. Never exposed to any of that. So the dream was not a 70mm dream. It was only a 29-inch screen that I would see movies on, the classics like Ben-Hur and all of that, and Pyasa and Do Bhi Zameen. And then it suddenly happened that I gave an audition in Delhi, and he liked it. He said, "Come, you still have to learn a lot, but come to Bombay, try and assist. See how it works out for you." And it's been a beautiful journey.
And what movie did you assist on?
I assisted on Shab.
Which was entirely filmed in Delhi, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it made sense that you auditioned there. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I auditioned for the role of Ashish, the Asfar in Shab, but then Onir thought that I had to still learn a couple of things. And so I assisted on the movie. I learned about movie making per se. It's a very vast art, and I was extremely naive when it came to movie making, and it really helped.
Yeah, and it's quite a coincidence that you would come in. You're originally Kashmiri, aren't you?
Yes.
It's quite a coincidence because Kannan came in. He's a filmmaker. He just made the series Inside Edge on Amazon.
Right.
He's written a book called Kashmir Nama, and he was talking about traveling in Kashmir and traveling in the Uri district to write that novel.
Right.
And he said because of a lot of people having grown up in that conflict, poetry and prose have naturally become a part of their existence.
Yes.
Do you agree? Can you give us some insights on that? You must have left when you were very young.
I left right after my school. I left in 2011.
That's not too
and that
young,
is also because of the fact that I really wanted to be back there. It is just because of the political atmosphere, because of the fact that schools would remain closed for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. So I had absolutely no choice but to leave. And to leave a home like Kashmir, it's heavy on your heart. So I think most of the poetry comes out of there. Yeah, it's the distance that you feel. But a lot of literature scene that is coming up in Kashmir. Rap is coming up in a big way because of the fact that people want to express, and they're finding a lot of rap, hip hop, these ways to communicate. And then of course there's a lot of poetry which is being done. We have stalwarts like Mehjoor who've written so much and who continue to aspire Kashmiris to write. And I thought sort of started writing when I was 13 as well, but mine was the heartbreak route to poetry.
Understandably so. So come on now, Onir. I mean, when Vikram was here for Trapped, he was waxing eloquent about Geetanjali and saying she's wonderful. Oh my God, she's so beautiful and this and that. And if his wife had accompanied him for the interview, I would have suspected things. But his wife was in the room. She was literally standing here. But anyway, so talk to me about how you found these two wonderful people. I mean, they just gave me the periphery saying, an audition happened in Delhi, but there's more to it than that. Yeah.
When the script of Kuch Bheege Alfaaz came to me, honestly, while reading it, by then Zain was working with me. He was the first choice that I thought that he would suit the role. But because he was working with me, and this was the first time I was working with a different producer, Saregama, so I wanted it to happen in a more organic way. So there were like nearly 5 months of audition. A lot of people did. And after 5 months, finally the producer said, listen, this is the right guy. And I feel really, really happy about that, because I feel the character that I needed to have a certain diction of Urdu. a certain voice, plus a certain intensity in the look, which I think Zain had, So I was very confident right from the beginning that he is the right person for the role and would also bring in a certain freshness. Similarly, Archie, the character that Geetanjali plays, I had met her before seeing her first film.
Oh, wow.
And after...
That is quite cool.
And wanting, when I met her, I think I told her also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I want to work with you. There's something, magical about Geetanjali. And it's like, I have to make a lot of effort to call her Geetanjali because in my phone and everywhere, I keep calling her Archie because she
You're
was...
such a director. Remember, cast people by their names in the script. I'm sorry. Anyway.
So, and she was also kind of the first choice. So it didn't take too long for it to get actually, finalized. We had like lots of talks about, and I can without hesitation say that she's one of the best actors I've ever worked with. Lovely person. I mean, for me, the journey through films, there's so much of time you spend, but then if you can create a bond, and I feel that with her, that's also special, and that's what Geetanjali is.
So Archie, aka Geetanjali. I want to understand how you interpreted this character. I'll tell you why. You see, what used to happen, and I keep complaining about this, I crib about this all the time, is that 10 years ago, radio presenters had so much mystery. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. People would actually listen to me and conjure up saying, oh my God, this is how Hrishikesh looks and this and that. And then, of course, they'd meet me and they'd be devastated. I'd look nothing like my voice, And, now it's all gone down the drain because you can have this honey-filled voice and then suddenly you look at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and you see this overweight Madrasi behind the mic. But how does she fall for the mystery of voice and go back to that old school charm of radio? Is it because Zain's character does not reveal his photograph? Is that what happens?
I think, of course, Archie being Archie, she is very active on social media. If she could, I think she would look him up and find out. But the character of Alfaaz is such that he doesn't like social media and that attention. Wow. He doesn't want to be on the limelight. So he stays away from that. Archie doesn't have a choice. Archie doesn't know whom she's talking to. It just it works out like that when you watch the film. And I think beyond a certain point, it really doesn't matter whether how you look, how you eat, how you dress. I mean, if you look at your very close friends, when you first met them, you think, oh, she's pretty, or whatever. But after a couple of years, you just don't care. When someone else says, oh my God, your friend is so pretty, or she's so smart, then you're like, oh yeah. But because it moves beyond those superficialities, then it's more about how you connect. So I think Archie immediately, when she speaks to Alfaaz, there's a special bond where they're talking about things beyond the initial tidbits or like small talks.
Yeah.
It immediately somehow it works out such that it immediately goes into a different direction altogether.
Yeah, so she basically loves this radio presenter because of his poetry, but she's also in the dating market, and she's she finds this other guy who's interesting. Is that the way it is? Yeah?
Yeah.
Kind of, without revealing too much of the plot.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. So Alfaaz as a radio presenter doesn't put himself out there.
No, he doesn't.
That's fantastic. I wish radio stations would understand that.
So in the film, there's this radio producer who's constantly trying to convince him Facebook page social network
Yeah.
To get me into contests for the winner to meet me.
Yeah, those are all things that happen at radio stations. Much as we want to create the mystery,
right.
There's a whole other side, the whole marketing,
look at the olden days where all of these superstars had this huge mystery about them.
Totally, yes.
People looked up to them in a similar manner. I think I have absolutely nothing against being out there, or I think in personal life, Zain is much it's really different. I think it's the opposite way. She's not on social media actually, Geetanjali, as a person.
She's not at all.
Yeah. No. And I am all out there with my poetry and everything. I want to be recognized.
Sure, why not?
But the mystery, it's not intended by Alfaaz. He doesn't want to create that mystery around him, but it's due to his nature or his insecurities, so to speak, that he happens to be like that. And I think that does, like you just mentioned, that does create a lot more mystery around a person.
Yeah. Like one of my gurus when I started off doing radio was Mr. Amin Sayani. God bless him. He hosted the Binaka Geet Mala for years and years. And that little radio set that Saregama has all of his shows,
yeah.
And
if I may mention that only for a fleeting moment, you were also one of my gurus.
Oh, how kind
the
of you, how
preparation
kind
of
of
the movie.
And I remember my mother telling me, saying that, there were times that she would be listening to him and she didn't know how he looked, till she saw him somewhere hosting a Mr. and Miss whatever competition, where she finally found out, but for years and years she didn't know how Sayan he looked. Right. And, because radio was a theatre of the mind, she would try and conjure up how he used to look, and Devanand meeting Vaida Rahman in the song and things like that. So in that aspect, this is quite ideal because you're bringing the old school with the modern day of life intentionally so, Onir.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah? And also I remember when we would be discussing how he would have to narrate his stories, one of the things I would constantly tell him is that you have to visualize the story in your mind, though no one is saying it. You have to, so that people who are listening to you see that and feel that, to create that imagery kind of a thing. So that was exciting for me. What was also important in the film is ultimately, because one of the things that the film tries to do is tell that the beauty is actually inside. All of us are beautiful. First thing we do is look at Instagram pouts, but after that there's much more, what she's saying, that connects people. And this film, two people who don't know what they look like, who they are, they only discover about their looks much later when they have the connection of the soul, which is, I feel, much stronger than nothing else starts mattering.
Yeah, and is he a nighttime presenter? Is that what he does? Yeah, that's quite amazing also, because thank God for that. Radio stations on the whole believe that daytime presenters have to be high adrenaline, high pitched, on caffeine or Red Bull or whatever it is.
Probably jumping around inside of the station.
Exactly, which is why you find all daytime presenters. But thankfully, nighttime presenters are still, more sedate and things like that. So that's quite authentic to have that going along. Here are this couple, and like you said, it's about internal beauty. I also noticed that Geetanjali's character has leukoderma, which, and I'm so happy, again, apart from the fact that you brought radio to the fore, so beautifully so. And these last 12 months have been bumper for the radio industry because, Suresh in his film had Sullu. And you guys have this, and I think it's so wonderful for the radio industry, irrespective of who you cast, that we're getting that focus. So another wonderful thing is the fact that she's got leukoderma.
Yes.
And talk to me about that. And is she very conscious of that? Do people make her feel conscious of that, like people I want to do?
She has leukoderma, but in this film we are concentrating more on the love aspect. And also leukoderma she has is more of a metaphor for insecurities that we have. Like I, as Geetanjali, I have so many insecurities. We all have something or the other that bothers us. So the film is about how you come to terms with your own insecurities and you just accept yourself, and then when you start loving yourself, you love everyone, and everything becomes much easier. As for if people make her conscious about that, yes they do, but that's also very real life. We tend to do that as well, not just with leukoderma, with various other things, whether it's race, color, whatever it is. So yeah, but she overcomes it. I think you'll have to watch the film to see.
Lovely. And I'm so happy to see one of my school time favorites, Pehla Nasha, in the movie. Wow, that really makes me feel old. I must have been like 10 years old or 11 years old when it first came out. Now
you're making me feel old.
And when I first saw it, and it brings back such wonderful memories. I mean, was it a pure coincidence that the music company was the same, or did you just want the song?
It was a mix of things. Like one is he is a radio jockey who does not play remixes or there's no original song composed, because I thought that it would be organic that he plays old Hindi songs. So the script came to us before the production company came. So it was always important that certain songs are there. And for me, this film is kind of an ode to love. And after college, when I just out of college, that's when Pehla Nasha, the song came with Jojita Wahi Sikandar, and I remember it was like an anthem for all of us, And first, memories of love is also associated with the song, and I thought that this song could become the theme of the film. Very, very lucky that the song happens to be with Saregama, and also we were really lucky because we used a very small clip of Amir Khan in the film, and I wrote to Mr. Mansoor Khan, and immediate email next next day reply was, yes, please use it. There's no...
I thought Mansoor was up in the hills somewhere doing some farming or something.
But the email reaches there.
Lovely. So it all came together. I mean, it's one of those divine things, yeah? Amazing. So, what have you learnt about our lives? About radio presenters' life. Come on, humor me, man.
The most important, the most beautiful thing is that you get to have this intimate space with people.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're whispering into people's ears, and it's just like you said, it's the theater of the voice. You're deprived of everything else. It's just the voice that reaches and the content that reaches people. And I think to add to the mystery that is built by RJs, it's sort of, a lot of people sit there imagining how you would look, how you would be talking. It's almost like you're addressing them. It's a beautiful world that I got to explore. It's also
Can I butt in?
Yeah, sure.
So also one of the things that you had to learn as the radio jockey no one can see. So I had to, as a director, constantly tell him that forget about your looks. Your hair can be the way it is. You can be dressed the way it is.
For example, if I was alone in studio, I'd be scratching myself.
So much fun.
I remember you actually saying that.
Yeah.
So he remembers. Actually, he remembers it all the time during the shoot. Also,
Good. I'm so glad. So, Geetanjali, there's a lot of excitement about you and the kind of roles that you do and things like that. I'm given to understand that your national award-winning film was with a Keralite director. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that movie. I know I'm digressing a little bit, but allow me to do so, please, because I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's on Netflix. You can watch
It is? Oh,
Yes,
wonderful.
yes, yeah.
I'll go check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a Malayali film?
It's Hindi, and also I played this woman who is from a tiny village called Chitkul in Himachal Pradesh. So we also use the local dialect from there a little bit, but it's mostly Hindi. The director of the film is Geetu Mohan Das. She won National Award for her first short film called Kelkunundo. But anyway, again, I'm digressing even further.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
It was a film. We shot the film in I think 20-25 days. It was a lot of hard work. The story is such that we start in the mountains where it's all snow clad. Then we come down to Shimla, and then finally we reach Delhi where the film ends. It was a very difficult film because of the weather conditions more than anything else. And I got to work with Nawaz for the film, and it was a great experience. And we also have a tiny goat in the film, which was growing very quickly. So we had to finish the shoot as soon as possible.
So there's continuity issues.
Yeah. It's a really wonderful film. It talks about migration within India. It talks about how a lot of people have to move to bigger cities looking for jobs, and because of the economic conditions in the hills in smaller places, and how difficult life is over there, and at the same time how welcoming or unwelcoming bigger cities are, and how there is no law or regulations when it comes to people who are doing manual labor. Like, we don't know who all are constructing all these high rises. Are there laws to cover, to take care of them? Are they registered? And it's also the registration apparently is quite a process. So most of them tend to work without the registration, and a lot of people die, they get lost, and we are not really looking after them, although they are our people. We are all the same. So it also tries to highlight, or it really isn't about that, but it tries to underline all these issues faced by migrant laborers.
Did you always want to be an actor? Did you always want to get into this one, or did you start off doing something else?
Yeah, this just happened. I did not always want to be an actor, but I also still don't know what I want to be or what I want to do. So it's like a process. And today I'm an actor, tomorrow maybe I'll just start, I don't know, be a chef, go to a culinary school or something. I don't know. That
depends on how good your cooking skills are, Geetanjali.
Oh, I'm really good at it.
I will take your word for it. So what is it? Is it Indian cuisine? Is it continental stuff? What do you make?
Oh, yeah, well, it just depends.
You can whip up a mean pasta.
Oh, hell yeah. I can make a really mean pesto. Like pesto is like hardcore, proper one.
Has your director got to sample your wares?
She's been traveling the world, so I've been like waiting. Okay, now.
When will I get a home cooked meal? Yeah,
I will.
So now the real reason you've been cast is because he wants a good meal.
For cooking to eat.
And considering the kind of foodies we've been in Calcutta.
Yeah. How can you go to Calcutta and not eat?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what you can do from morning till the night. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, like, he assisted Onir, then, he gradually became an actor. For you, it was just by accident. So what, were you modeling and then somebody just
something of that
that
nature.
sort.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was modeling, but not like hardcore modeling. I was just like, someone knows a designer, aja kar le, something like that. And then someone saw a picture of mine, like a complete cliche, And then I was called for an audition. It clicked. Then and one after the other, I've been auditioning and getting decent work. And
So for the moment, even though you're a national award winner, your primary job is cooking and you also act.
no, my primary job is traveling, and I cook while I travel, and once in a while I happen to act.
And it really helps when your movie goes to festivals.
Oh, yes.
Because, whatever happens at the festival, whether you get a standing ovation or not, you're at least traveling.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you get to travel with your movie?
Yeah.
A few places at least, yeah?
A lot, actually.
Now let's see how much Yudle and Onir
So
get
we
you
are
to travel.
already planning to go to London and Edinburgh. That's already fixed, and a
Yeah.
couple of other festivals.
Nice. Okay, tell me about the other cast members. I mean, it's grossly unfair that we only talk about the three of you and me.
So
Who else is in the movie? Yeah.
There is Shreya Tiwari, who plays a friend and who had done a small role in Shab. That was his first film, but he was really good there. So then I wanted to cast him here. Then the rest are all actors from Calcutta, and I was actually shocked because the length of the role, which a lot of people go by, was small, but they were important for me. And there were people who are really well established actors who were just saying yes, and I felt like really overwhelmed that so many wonderful people just came together. And my biggest high was when there's this one scene that Barun Chanda, who's done Satyajit films and really who plays like a grandfather of just for one scene, and I had not even met him. On the phone I spoke to him about the role and he said yes, and for me that was like a dream come true.
Lovely. Who plays your boss? Is that your boss or your producer?
My producer, Chandri.
Features
Chandri.
prominently in the
Yes,
trailer.
yes.
Who is she?
Chandri. She's an actor.
Again, very impressive personality.
very,
She comes onto screen, and you say, wow.
Yeah.
There are a couple of producers actually shown in the movie, and one of them is Shahib Bhattacharya and Chandri Ghosh.
These are all people who are trying to spur him on to become kind of more open.
Cover
this and
cover
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who's written his poetry? Because the little bit that I can sample in the trailer is exquisite. So who's written all of that?
So the script and everything, all the poems are written by Abhishek Chatterjee. Apart from, there is this flashback sequence when the character of Alfaaz is supposed to be 16. So my 16-year-old niece, she wrote the poems for everything that the 16-year-old characters, recite. And
Wow. Does she harbor ambitions of being a filmmaker?
is, as of now, writing. She loves writing poetry, short stories and all. Her name is Trisha. And also I took a lot of advice from her about how to shoot these scenes, because she would say, Mama, but for us, love is not like that and we don't feel like that. So, for me, it was really nice to take her perspective of how a 16-year-old, and she was already in love, would, experience love and see love, what it means for them.
Lovely. So what else have you signed in Bombay? There's Vikram's film. There's him. You're doing very well in terms of directors.
Yeah.
You're getting the best. You're lucking out. But have you signed anything else? Can we look forward to anything else?
Nothing right now. I just finished 2 films after shooting for Kuch Bheege Alfaaz. One is again a Keralite from Kerala. It's Dr. Bijay Kumar. He's also a multinational award winner, and we shot for the film in Sikkim, where I'm originally from.
Oh wow, you're from Gangtok.
Yeah, I'm from Sikkim. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, we were shooting there. That's there, and I was.
My God, that's such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
My God. So you shot next to home.
Yes.
Do you still have family? Folks are there?
Yes,
Yeah, lovely.
yes. Yeah.
Got to go back home and have your ghar ka khana and things
Yeah,
like that.
I'm thinking I'll go after the release of this film. So
You must. You must. Yeah. We've started a program on Radio 1 called People United, India United. The reason we've started this program, it has nothing to do with Kuch Bheege Alfaaz, but please humor me, is that we're fed up of people spreading hate. People are banning food items.
Yes.
People are banning motion pictures. People are using archaic rules and laws, saying, try and ban certain kinds of people, and this is natural. Who are we to judge all these things?
Right.
What are we doing wrong as a society? What can we improve? Because till 10 years ago, there was no Jat, Paat, Dharam, this, that. We never thought of Hindu, Muslim, all these things have suddenly come to the fore. What are we doing wrong?
I
Trolls online. It's just going out of control. What are we doing wrong? What can we do right to come together as human beings?
I think it's the two aspects of the same coin. We need to start celebrating love. We need to stop censoring love. Why is it okay to go out in the street and to be casting aspersions on somebody, to be fighting out in the open? Of course you get locked up, but that's fine. But why is it wrong to be holding hands? Why is it wrong to be showing and expressing love out in the public? I think we need love to be around us. We need to start accepting people and being more tolerant, and that will only come when we start researching things. We believe in a lot of hearsay, a lot of humbug. We listen to something from somebody XYZ has said something. We don't care enough to go back to our homes, open the internet and research about it. One opinion and we are sold. I think those are the things that we really need to change about ourselves.
How can we stay together? What are we
I
doing
think
wrong?
what
What do you want to say to the hate mongerers?
Yeah, I have to deal with them all the time, but I think you have an example of 3 people out here. Okay, one from Kashmir, marginalized in a certain way, one from Northeast, and one because of my sexual identity of being gay.
Correct.
Coming together.
So one Muslim, one person from the Northeast, and one gay person.
Yes,
it's
and
wonderful.
coming together, all of us with a lot of love within us, and talking about a film which celebrates love without any stamps on each of us.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need that. And I feel that day we recognize that humanity is much, much larger than, you know, all these things of religion. I mean, why should it matter to anybody what I eat, whom I love, what I wear, when there are so many, many more things that our country needs to be thinking about?
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that not just nationally, even, you know, half the conflicts that's happening around us with neighbors, whatever it is, because we are just not learning how to celebrate the basic essence of humanity. We are only celebrating hatred.
One of the biggest problems, and I want you to react to this before you tell me your point of view, is I don't think we have classes for art. And by art, I don't mean painting. The arts, sports during school hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think if only we had more arts in schools and colleges where we have cinema, theatre of all kinds.
Yes.
You know, when people are told to appreciate gays and lesbians in movies, for example, or examples of Hindu-Muslim and, you know, Hindu-Catholic unity, which that's what the arts does, right? When you get onto a movie set, you don't know, you don't care, whose religion is what.
Exactly.
Do you think that's the answer, Geetanjali? I mean, or do you have any thoughts on this?
I agree to that. I think it should start young, and I think it's very important to be aware of your neighbors, your country, everything. I think if there is more about the Northeast in, let's say, geography or history books, then the students who are from, let's say, the East or the West or the South of India, they will be aware as they're growing up that, okay, hey, there is a part of the country where people maybe look different, they have a slightly different food and culture, art, whatever. But now if they say something against or just say something stupid about Northeast, I can't really take offense on that because they don't know, because they're not aware of it. They were not made aware of it. I believe there are a lot of people who are fighting in Delhi to include a lot of Northeast and Northeast culture and history in the syllabus, the Indian syllabus of like CBSE, ICSE and other things. Also, yes, we should know more about arts like cinema and stuff in school. Starting from school, whatever. I think we also should have more avenues, more venues to show our work, films and documentaries and short films. I wish there were more places where school kids, college kids, or even us, like whatever, we could all go and watch a documentary made in Iran or something made in Argentina. I have learned so much because I got this opportunity to travel around the world because of the films I've done. I go to different film festivals, I watch these brilliant documentaries, films, and it just makes you more aware about people, about love, and how we are all so different from each other. Like the 4 of us in this room, we are very, very different, and yet we are so same. We are so similar. We are the same. You know, we laugh about same things. We feel bad about similar things, and I think it has to start young, but also we should do something to make it accessible. This whole arts, everything, to people from everywhere, not just Delhi and Bombay, but all throughout smaller cities, in government schools, not just private schools having their philosophy class or whatever. It should be a mass thing if we want people to be aware about each other and just spread love or
If I may add.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel,
yeah, Zain.
the industry also as such, representation, because cinema is such a powerful media, should be there much more. Like, for example, it was very conscious when we were discussing. Initially, in the script, her character was supposed to be Josna, so I could just call her Josna, but we thought, why not keep her as Archana Pradhan? It's as much a part of this country, this culture, everything, and why not have that representation? And I think we need more and more of that people from, in a Hindi film, that people from other parts of the country, because we in a city like Bombay, Delhi, wherever, it's mixed, but we don't see them in films. We need to.
There are so many compulsions. I remember asking Umang this very clearly, Umang Kumar, and I said, you got PC to play Mary, which is okay, but you could. If you had got a girl from the Northeast to play Mary, that would have really done it for me. But he said, but the film wouldn't sell.
That's true.
Yeah, everybody has their own compulsions.
I feel that's not true. It's more than the film wouldn't sell. It's always saying that I want a bigger budget. I'm sorry. I feel today, if that was the case, Newton wouldn't have happened.
Fair enough. So you're saying if you choose to keep the budget small and say, okay, fine, I'll still make a profit for everybody, it could have been done with somebody else.
And if no one takes those steps, we'll keep perpetuating that notion. No, Priyanka Chopra also became Priyanka Chopra because she did her first film. So how can you not, especially when you have, someone who's proved herself as an actor. I feel, it's just how we position, can we make big films with huge budgets just because someone is a star kid. So it's not about newcomer, it's about who. So if the system supports, if the studio which made the film supports that vision, any of them can become a star when they have, if they have the talent. Without talent, no. But with talent, yes.
Also, I'd like to believe, I think we're coming into an era of, it is probably just daydreaming about it, but where content is the new king. And for that, I think the Mary Kom as such, the story is so big, so beautiful, that if somebody from Northeast would have played it, I have absolutely nothing against Priyanka Chopra playing it. I think she played it wonderfully. But if somebody from Northeast would have played it, there would have been a lot more authenticity to it. And at the end of the day, it was the story of Mary Kom which had to be told. Also, if I may digress a little bit,
sure.
I just remember that today is the day when we were talking about arts. It only happens that most of the people I meet who are most liberated are people who are most exposed to art from different parts of the world. And it's also that it was this day 4 years ago that this Kashmiri all girls band.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yes, they decided
so cool.
to call it quits today.
But they were such a cool band. Yes. I remember, they put it out and then they started getting fatwas.
Yes.
People said we will do this, that.
And I remember.
What a pity, man.
I remember I sort of knew one of them, and I was so happy when they had made that band, and I was absolutely excited.
Like they were playing Guns N' Roses and all, man.
It was amazing. And
wow.
For them to be seeing an all-girls band, it would have been so liberating for the girls out there. For the girls to have seen these wonderful, beautiful 4 girls going out on the stage performing, and it sort of opens up avenues. But then for them to have quit, and for no fault of theirs, and I don't hold it against them for quitting, because the kind of pressure they've sort of faced, a 13, 14, 15-year-old should not be made to go through all of that.
Totally. Best luck, you guys. Thank you for rolling by. Geetanjali, Zain and Onir.
Thank you so much.